If you've ever wondered what it's like to create like a vlog, a voiceover one, I thought I'd take you guys through my process behind the scenes and kind of walk you through how I do it. I don't always do this process, but I feel like the ones that turn out the best are the ones where I've done this process through. Step one is obviously going to be you're going to take little clips of whatever it is you want to vlog. For this vlog, I want to talk about my solo traveling trip. The way I format them is I think about how can I give value rather than narrate my trip. For this example, I was thinking I would do an episode for my Diary of the Loner, and this is something I've been thinking about for a few days, so it's not just something that spontaneously came to me. And my concept is going to be, if you're single and you still haven't been on a solo trip, here is the case why it's the best thing you can do for the relationship that you are in, which is the relationship with yourself. So I kind of like wrote down the points I want to be talking about on my notes. So that's like one of the steps is brainstorming, coming up with the idea, and like trying to find a way to make it like the most interesting and catchy. Because if you want to get into the social media space, you'll realize like making videos, especially on TikTok, the most important thing is your hook. So like initially, like how you hook people in, what is the reason that they should keep watching your video over all the hundreds and infinite amount of videos available on their feed. So you got to give them a reason to stick around. I'm not always the best at it, but I do give it a lot of thought and try to come up with what I think is the best for that moment. What I've realized is I have such a blind spot when it comes to myself. It's so hard to realize if the idea you have is like the best possible idea. I feel like it's easy for me to look at someone else's concept and be like, oh, here's what I would change about that. Or what about this as a suggestion? But when it comes to ourselves, I don't know why there's just such a blind spot. So it's always good to ask for help if you can. Drinking Olipop, of course. The process works two ways. I could either align all of the clips on CapCut beforehand and then do the voiceover, or I can kind of like put the clips in, do the voiceover, and then go back in and readjust the clips and make sure it aligns with the voiceover. So I think for this video, I'm actually going to do the voiceover now and then go back in and play around with the clips and see what I like. So I'll take you guys through the process of the voiceover. For the ones where I have the script, I either have my laptop or my other phone with me. I'm gonna move you guys up. I have my laptop, and then we're just gonna hit the voiceover. Diary of a Loner, if you're single. Diary of a Loner, if you are single and still haven't been on a solo trip, here's the case for why it's one of the best things you can do for the relationship you're currently in, aka the relationship with yourself. And I'm gonna give you 5 reasons, and at the end, let me know if I've sold you on this. Number 1, there is nothing that compares to a solo trip and the benefits that come with it. So right now, I don't like how I said benefits that come from it. I think I want to do the growth or like what is gained from it. I think benefits doesn't make sense, so I'm going to go back and erase it. Number 1, there is nothing that compares to a solo trip and the benefits that compares to a solo trip. I will just delete the whole thing. Number 1, there is nothing that compares to a solo trip and what you gain from that experience. Okay, now I'm gonna go back and just like listen to this raw voiceover I did, and I'm gonna see if I want to redo it. Fun, right? What I'm going to do now is the most tedious process, and usually I'll just put like a show in the background, but I won't be watching the show because I'm gonna fix this. But basically, if you look on CapCut, so you see how that part's blank, you have to go in and cut all, like you see the blue there, but then it gets like skinnier. Basically, I'm gonna go in and cut all the dead space of any like pauses or anything that I said. Make sure it's really concise and tight, and cut anything that I feel like is extra for the voiceover. So that is the next process of what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm gonna do that and come back once I'm done. I'll let you guys know how long that took. It's currently 2 o'clock. Okay, I forgot to update. So I finished the voice over, cleaning it up. I think I finished around like 3:20. It's 3:30 right now. And now I've gone in to try to add all the clips with the voiceover and kind of try to create like a cohesive story. Because right now I have 30 seconds of clips and a minute and 30 seconds of voiceover. So I'm just going back and trying to see how I could visually create like a cohesive story so it seems like there's some action happening, because right now the clips are just like mismatched. And then another thing that I try to do is maybe I'm saying something and then hopefully visually it kind of matches the vibe, you know? So this is the behind the scenes basically. And the crazy thing is this can take hours, because I've already spent hours on the brainstorming, the coming up with a concept, obviously getting the clips in the moment. And it's not paid. This is probably going to be 8 hours of work for one video that might flop. So we'll see. I hope it doesn't flop though. This kind of video is a video I enjoy and like feeds my soul, and like I hope it connects with people. Sometimes it's not the most interesting, I guess, because it's like, I don't know, but it comes from the heart, and I really hope it gives people value, because yeah, if I could ever make a living off of creating videos like this with like positive messages instead of trying to sell people things, I would be a happy person. So we'll see, but there usually isn't money and things like this. I'm gonna keep going and then I'll let you guys know when I finish. I think we'll probably have another hour or so. Probably another hour or two. Oh, I will say, if I didn't have a script, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, then the voiceover usually takes me like multiple rounds, sometimes like 10 rounds of getting the idea I want down that flows well and sounds good. But I think that's the positive thing about having bullet points and like kind of having a thought out like script of what you envision saying. It just makes it a bit faster, but obviously then you have to pre-plan. It's officially 5:23 and I'm still sitting on this couch. I did take a tiny break for about 15 minutes and ate, and now I feel like I am done, but I'm just choosing a background song because I feel like it would be nice for there to be like some sort of music in the background, just like classical music. It adds a nice little flavor. Like something like this. Adds a vibe, a mood. So 79% uploaded on TikTok, and it's 5:36. So yeah, it took a full day. Like 8 hours or more. But here's the catch. I now need to format it for Instagram because I do the captions native to TikTok, like on the app. And then for Instagram, I take captions from CapCut because I don't like the Instagram captions. They're ugly. So once this is uploaded, still at 79, 80, we'll go. And then I think at the end, I will give like a 24-hour update on how the video ended up doing. Sometimes I'm really proud of what I do. I am proud of this video. I actually don't think it's gonna do well, to be honest. I think maybe it's not as interesting for a lot of people, so I just think it's probably gonna do okay. And the unfortunate thing is, in a week or so, I'm gonna have the hindsight of knowing how I could have done it better. But in this very moment, until I put this piece of work out, I'm not gonna like know how I can improve it. Okay, it's uploaded on TikTok. Right here. Diary of a Loner. If you're single and still haven't been on a solo trip, here's the case for why it's one of the best things you can do. You know what? I think at the end of the day, I would have been really glad to see a video like that, and I think that's what matters. Like, would I want to see my own content? And I think when I was in my single period and just like figuring out what this new era was, I would have wanted to see a video that encouraged me to build like the relationship with myself. So I think overall I'm happy with it. And like I said earlier, like it's true joy to create a video like that. Okay, it is 6:25 and I am getting ready to post on Instagram. Just gonna preview it. Diary of a Loner. If you are single and still haven't been on a solo trip, here's the case for why it's one of the best things you can do. I think I'm ready. I don't know. Sometimes, see, this is like the content creator spiral where it's like you spend hours on something, and I just like checked back on TikTok to see how it was doing, and initially, you know, it got some good engagement, but recently just my content has been like getting good engagement initially and then just like stalling completely. So it's a little bit discouraging. I've been talking about this with my friends, how I just feel like maybe I'm not cut out for this. Like maybe I'm just not good enough, you know, like maybe I'm not a good content creator. Like I'm good, but I'm not good enough to, you know, get to that next level. So it's hard when you pour your heart and soul sometimes. Editing the cover, we're gonna share. Oh, why am I like this? I just feel like sometimes when you, like when I was saying earlier, I was like, I think it's good and I really like enjoyed the process and doing it, but part of me just knows it's not gonna do well. So sometimes, like, even though it's been years I've been doing this, it still feels like kind of cringe and embarrassing when you're like, oh, this isn't like my best work. I don't know, you know? But I also think we overthink it. Like I'm thinking too hard about how it's going to be received, and no one really cares that much. Like no one's really going to be sitting here analyzing my video, you know? They're too worried about their own post or their own life. It's 6:45 and we are basically officially done. Pretty nuts, right? Oh, I need to stop spiraling. Hello. It's the next day and I thought we would do a 24-hour update. We don't have the best news. My little intuition as I was posting it was pretty on point. So on TikTok, it has 675 views, which is pretty low. 97 likes, 5 comments, 3 saves, 2 shares. On Instagram, it has 2,500 views, 152 likes, 7 shares, 15 saves. So like decent amount of shares and saves, but obviously still pretty low. This was a tough one for me because this series used to be something that used to perform really well for me, and I feel like I don't think I've ever had it tank this bad, but I also can't help sometimes feel like, is my content getting worse than it was before? But also maybe I just need to continue like innovating and changing, and what I'm doing just isn't working. Yeah, this was hard, but this is a behind the scenes. I thought I'd walk through the tools I use just so you guys like know. I film everything on my iPhone 15 Pro Max. I also have an iPhone 13. So it could be any of them. They're both pretty comparable to one another. I think anything works, right? And I use CapCut to edit. I feel like it's the best. I used to use InShot. They're pretty comparable to one another. So you could use either of them. And to film these videos, I'm using a DJI Osmo 3. Love that, just got that. If you have any questions about how to make voiceovers, how to create vlogs in general, like any advice for me, let me know. I'm gonna link the actual video that I posted in the description, and I'll link my pages so you can take a look and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of the final product that tanked. Love you guys.